Boom, baby. We are live, motherfuckers. There goes monetization. Welcome, Tokyo Crypto Show, episode 109. Don't buy spell token. All right, we'll see you guys next week. All right. Yeah. I'm here with Charlie from cultivatecrypto.com, who is becoming a man who no longer needs an introduction. How's it doing? How you doing, Charlie?
I'm doing very, very good. I was just trying to remember the last Tokyo Crypto Show that we did prior to the crypto mindset course. Looks like it was on January 6th.
Oh, God.
And then the one before that was late December. So I think the last time we talked about Spell on the show, or on this show, right, it was a totally different situation.
Big change, eh?
Yeah. Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that today because I've been obviously, I've been on hiatus, went to Colombia, bought myself some new teeth, and they're traffic stoppers. And then we are talking about I had to go to quarantine and so much stuff happened, and like the market took a massive dump when I was in Colombia. And so yeah, we just have to really catch up because a lot of people were hanging on to the last words I had in that stream. When I was just like, yeah, I think Spell is a viable money making option, and at that time it was. However, there was some financial scandal that went down, and it caused the token to really take a crap. Honestly, man, I'm like, this is gonna come off as whatever. I'm just getting sick and tired. I don't know. Every time I see like these like cult like leaders and like they're a little bit fat, I don't know. I just don't trust them. I'm like, I don't know. I don't trust them. Like, like I said, Richard Hart, whatever. He's got his thing going. Like Hex is a cult to an extent. I still don't trust him, but I do.
Most cryptocurrencies have that, vibe, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't trust them, and but you can make money with Hex, and then same thing with this Danielle guy. So.
Yeah, I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto is a dark figure, which nobody ever knows who he is. And, in the early days of Bitcoin, right, you're getting these coins popping out of your computer for very cheap. A lot of cryptos start out that same way, which is why, for me, whenever and this was my kind of angle on the market born from 2017, which is, every single cryptocurrency that I ever come across, the way that I come across it at the beginning, no matter how much I think it's interesting, is I always come with this massive grain of salt, and I'm just carrying that with me and being like, okay, where are all the problems, right? And so I try to assume, the negative about each cryptocurrency as soon as I see it. That way, obviously you got to really do due diligence on these coins. And for the most part, what I would say for most coins is, if these coins last more than a year without like a rug pull or a scandal or whatever, then they're generally going to be fine. Like the majority of cryptocurrencies, if they do have a huge problem, it comes usually within the first 6 months to a year. And so, yeah, if you bring that big grain of salt, bring some, constructive criticism to each coin that you see when you first see it. Obviously, you don't want that to let you get in the way of potentially making a speculative play on it, because you do have to take some risks in this market, right? You can't play it, super safe, because if you try to, if you don't try to move quickly in this market, you're going to get left behind. Yeah. So, you got to take your shots here and there. You just got to make sure that you do it with an amount of capital compared to the rest of your portfolio that's not going to, sink the entire portfolio or sink the whole ship. So,
oh yeah, tell me about it. Looking at what we have now with what's happening with the market, I think the only thing that really took a hit was Spell token in regards to the whole spooky swap ecosystem. Boo seems to be pretty stable. Phantom seems to be doing all right.
Yes, and the main reason for that is because the Frog Nation with Danielle Sesta and this stuff related to one of the treasury guys for the Wonderland token named Sifu, which is loosely connected to Spell. Basically, he had, for the Spell token, the treasury of the Spell token, There were, I think, 6 out of 10, they had a multi-sig wallet that 6 out of 10 people needed to sign in order to access funds on that wallet. And Sifu was one of 10 people who was in charge of that. But he was also the person who basically opened up the door of suspicion to Wonderland time, which so it, basically the main problem is Wonderland time. Guy who runs the treasury is Sifu, who has been known in previous Ponzi schemes as well as
right. Let's before we go into like the depth of it.
No, I know you. I'm trying to give like a general overview.
TLDR. No. Let's save the meat for later.
All right.
Basically, okay. I'll just say this. I'm steering clear of Spell from now on. For me personally, this is just me, not financial advice. Don't sue us because only pussies like to sue us. Once a project for me has a hack or has some kind of scandal, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah,
it's just like one strike, you're out with me. RGT, had its little thing. It did recover and people did make money off of it. But for me, once I saw that, I was like, I'm out. For that reason, I'm out, Bob. And so, for me with this, full transparency, I did make some purchases of Spell at 0.009. And I have been down a little bit. And once we are back in the green, I'm totally out. I'm not even holding out for 2 cents or whatever.
We can look at the charts in here in a bit, and I do think Spell Token has about a 50% dump in it still, going down to potentially 40% of a penny before it has more potential for recovery. But that's not necessarily guaranteed. There's possibility for pump. So I can show like basically the 2 scenarios that we have here for Spell as well.
Elliott says, is that a new logo for the Tokyo Crypto Show? No, it's funny. I had this logo designed in 2019 and we just never got around to using it. And before the show, I was like,
I think we did use it on some thumbnails back in the day.
We did use it on some thumbnails. That is true. We did use it on some thumbnails, but we just never got around to using it. And before today's show, I was like, hey, let's throw it up there. Let's give it a go. And you guys like it? Put a 1 in the chat or $100 in the super chat if you like it. Whichever one's easier. So first things first, you guys know that Charlie is the most reliable source for your daily cryptocurrency data. And we're going to get a pulse on the market. And what we mean by pulse on the market is we're going to check the price of Bitcoin. Charlie's going to give us overall market sentiments and opinions. And then from there, we're going to look at Spell, the chart, and talk about where we see Spell going, because we do kind of feel I'm the one who really pushed Charlie to do this episode today, because when I was in Colombia, totally sober, people were asking me nonstop on Instagram, like, hey, I'm buying Spell. I'm like, no, don't. I couldn't even see the keyword. I was like, oh, don't do it. Like, because I was just getting bombarded. But the last episode we did was when we were heavily endorsing it. And it didn't even click.
Well, you were, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was. And so that being said, we really want to clear the air and make sure you guys are okay in regards to your bags, because we are in 2022. It's a danger zone, in my opinion. There's money to be made, but I feel like the window to pull it out is you have to be sober this year for real. You can't be fucking like living on cloud 9, like buying cum rockets and shit like that, like last year.
Yeah, I think for my opinion of where we are in the market right now, 2020, most except for the first quarter of 2021. Right, basically from May of 2021 through now, right, we've been in a consolidating market, meaning we've just been ranging between $30,000 and $70,000, right, for Bitcoin. So the reason why, like, I think that type of Surgeon General's warning or just public service announcement is important is because once we do break into new all-time highs, right, you're definitely not going to be wanting to mess with that kind of stuff. It's going to be the stuff that everybody is messing with because it's quickest money and it's, like moss to a flame. But yeah, you're 100% right. You want to be able to take your principal out of the market before most other people, which we talked about in the crypto mindset course.
Yep.
The two
boys
areas
that got in there. Sorry, I'm just gonna brag for you. The boys that got into the crypto mindset, like the market shat the bed the day of enrollment, and then the day we're like, all right, guys, go out there and make money. The market's like,
yeah, we timed it pretty well, I might say.
yeah. Well, hey, nobody can target the market except for you.
But yeah, so anyways, the two psychological areas to pay attention to for Bitcoin, which is the coin that you have to pay attention to for the broader market cryptocurrency health, right? Is pay attention to the previous all-time highs from $55,000 to $70,000, because that's when Bitcoin's worth $1 trillion in market cap. That's a psychological level for institutions, right? Meaning the smart money, the hedge funds, crypto native hedge funds, as well as Wall Street based hedge funds, and these companies that are getting into Bitcoin as well. So these are the guys who are mainly putting money into the market over the last year and a half. So those are the guys to watch, and their psychology is important to pay attention to. Then the next psychological level for them is $2 trillion market cap for Bitcoin. Anything above that is absolutely, where we get into like a 2017 type, frenzy. So yeah, you don't want to be paying attention to, your cum rockets and all that stuff at that time, because sure. Can you make a quick trade on something like that and make some money? I'm sure a lot of people will. Is it going to be something that you can get absolutely wrecked on at some point in this market? Definitely. So I think we're at the point in the market where, while Bitcoin is under $45,000, you pretty much can buy any of the main tokens that you have, that you're able to hold for 5 years, that will still be here in 5 years, right? So as long as you're buying those, you're going to be okay. If you're trying to buy coins that, might die in a bear market, buying them under 45,000 is not the place. The place to be buying them would be between $45,000, well, $47,000 to about $70,000, and then selling them on your principal as we get closer to 80 to 100K. So, we talked about that in detail in the course, and that's something we talk about more in future episodes later in this year, especially later in this current 60-day cycle. But that's where we're at right now. So be careful in this market.
Stefanescu Dragos, $24.99 Romanian owners. I don't know. Thank you so much for the $24. Romanian, what is their currency? Romanian onyx?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Romanian Draculas. Do you want to do a teaser? I don't know what he means by that, but Lord Venom says $4.99 super chat. Hey, MLD, thanks to you, myself, and 3 other friends have accumulated 100K spell coins so far. Still believe in it. To the moon, baby. Well, don't touch that dial, because you need to see what we're talking about today.
I would say yes.
Please watch. Please, for love of God.
Charlie. How much is 100K spell coins worth right now at
too much. Oops. Too much.
That's only $700.
$700 loss is $700 loss.
Yeah, I guess so.
Check. There you go.
Please pay attention. Do not buy any more spell token after you watch the entirety of this show. I repeat, for the love of God, stop emailing me, stop DMing me.
I'm really getting bombarded by you guys, like emailing me, texting me. I just bought my life savings worth and spell token. It's just like, for the love of God, please, Jesus. Oh God, please pay attention to today's episode. Oh God. Anyways, I mean, yeah, it's $700, but still, I don't want anybody to lose even a single dollar. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
The commando's just right there. Do not buy spell. See you guys next week. So yeah, let's take a look at the show, the chart, shall we?
Alrighty, let's do it.
Peng Meng sending us 14.98 Singaporean dollars, I believe. Singaporean dollars, I believe. Yeah.
Appreciate you, sir.
Yes.
All right, we're going to infinity and beyond, and then I'll get you onto that chart.
There you go.
Can see this, right?
Rest in peace, your RAM. Go ahead.
So basically, what do we want to pay attention to? We'll pay attention to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Spell token, right? So we'll just take a look at those three today, and that's what we'll keep it to for the most part. But Bitcoin here, just like if I were to remove some of these moving averages for now, let's just remove those two to make the chart a little bit clear. You can see, right, ever since November 10th, it's been in a significant downtrend, right? We had, if I zoom out here, we had the highs here from the spring of, $64,000 for Bitcoin. Then we had the big summer dump, one negative cycle, meaning the cycle high was before day 30, one left translated cycle, and then back up to it, to the all-time highs on Bitcoin at 69,000, right? And then another, this is actually, if you look at the degree, this dump here was a lot more severe, but then the left translated cycle that we had after that was relatively sideways, right? Whereas here we had some dump. It wasn't quite so as bad. It was still pretty bad, but it wasn't quite as bad. And then the left translated cycle has been, continued that downtrend. So this downtrend took a lot longer in terms of time, right? But the left translated cycle is something to be a little bit careful of, basically, which means even though we broke this trend line here, right? We maybe let's delete that. Even though we broke this trend line to the to the upside here, and then we've regained this 50 moving average. And when we've regained this 50 moving average in this bull market, it's been pretty positive ever since 2019. So we'll go back to the beginning of this bull market. So here, right, we broke above that 50 moving average. It had been resistance in the bear market quite some time. Then we got it. We broke above it, right, for that whole 2019 through 2020. We just kind of spaghettied around that moving average for a while, but then we gained it after the Corona crash. And then we held that for the most part, you can see, throughout this entire bull run of 2020 into 2021, which was pretty massive for Bitcoin. Then we went under it, but we gained it here, under it, gained it here. And so under it, gained it here, right? So basically, every time we've gained it, we don't usually lose it so quickly, meaning we don't go back below there. So right now we have some decent support here at about that $42,000, $43,000 mark. And that's the area that Bitcoin's got to hold in order to stay bullish. So right now, if we just take a look at the 60-day cycle from the low here to the current cycle high, which was yesterday on day 15 of the cycle, we basically have a potential where what if we get the high here, we regain that 50 moving average, but we don't hold it and we dump back down. What I was telling people on my show yesterday was basically if we break back down below $39,000, it's likely that what we get here is a dead cat bounce, meaning we just kind of bounce on this trend line down, 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 down into the end of March, basically. And we hit a new low, maybe around that $31,000 to $29,000 region, right? So that's one possibility. I would say that's the most bearish scenario, right? So the most important date to pay attention to here on Bitcoin, and this will affect all other cryptocurrencies as well, is here on February 23rd. What we want to see, right, is Bitcoin going into February 23rd, hold above $39,000, 38,000 at minimum. And then we want to see Bitcoin gain closer to between $47,000 to $50,000, closer to February 23rd. The closer we are to this previous cycle high, which was here at $52,000, basically what you do on each 60-day cycle is you can simply make a grid. You can go to the previous cycle high, which was here on the at $52,000, and then you can go to the current cycle low, and that will give you a pretty easy determination of which direction the market is likely to head to. If we are closer to, the lower part below $39,000, the lower half of this, then we're more likely to have that bearish scenario. The closer we are getting close here to February 23rd, the closer we are to the 52,000 mark. And I would say well above 42,000, the closer we are in this region, the more likely we are to have a bullish move, which would mean the second half of the 60-day cycle from February 23rd through the end of March would be pretty bullish. And what we would likely see in a bullish scenario, right, is something along these lines where we maybe come down a bit in the next few days. We hold these levels, we kind of come up a bit, and then we get what we call a mid-cycle low. We come back down maybe to the current prices, and then we start having a good, nice, steady eddy kind of pump here to maybe like high 50,000s. And then towards the 60-day portion of the cycle, late March, then we come down here and we find another cycle low, maybe around the current prices. And then from there, right, if we can make this type of pattern, then it's that basically guarantees that this downwards price action has been completed. And then we likely have another 60-day cycle of positivity. And then we see what happens at the previous all-time highs. Do we get rejected there? Do we make it past there? And we see what happens there. And this basically will show us that the bull market wants to continue. And if we get the opposite scenario, right, which I said was the bearish scenario, where we come down here, we maybe test around the 23rd, that $39,000 level, and then we start getting that dead cat bounce, and we nuke it down here into the end of the 60-day cycle, down to that 31,500 mark ish, right? That could be the negative scenario. If we get a dump even faster than that, watch your ass basically on this, market. It's all going to zero. But I mean, it would just mean we have a much longer slog here for this price. Especially if we went back down below this trend line before the 23rd, that would be a big oof. So right now, you have time, in my opinion. You don't have to rush into this market, because some people see this move from 33,000 to 44,000, which is a $11,000 move, which is significant for Bitcoin. I would say the 11,000 move is the old $1,000 move. It's a 33% move, right? When Bitcoin was below $10,000, a $1,000 move was 10 to 33%, depending on how low it was, right? But now a $10,000 move or $11,000 move is similar to like a few $1,000 move on Bitcoin back in the day, back in 2019 when we started the Tokyo Crypto Show. So it's significant, right? And so I would say in my opinion, I do believe we have a strong likelihood for a right translated cycle, but we gotta wait basically the next, 2 weeks? We have exactly 14 days here by Japan time, I think 15 days by US time, before we have a much clearer vision of where this cycle is potentially going.
Where do you think it's going? Personally, not financial advice.
That's a good question. So personally, what I think,
there's a lot of external factors.
There are.
The government, obviously, Joe Biden is now redistributing government issued crack pipes. No, that's not a joke, guys. The Fed is. Did they make their announcement yet?
At the end of January, they said around March, they will likely increase rates for interest rates. Yes, likely.
So, but the thing is this, right? Let's just talk. Okay, like everybody obviously knows that the wheels have fallen off the Corona bus. Restrictions are coming down globally. Like, they can't do this anymore. And in my personal opinion, it was all an excuse just to print copious amounts of money, because Charlie and I are here in Japan, and we got 100,000 yen each just for fucking being here. Is it quote COVID relief money? Approximately like $800, $900, give or take. But the majority of the money they printed went to like all their buddies within the governments and everything. And that's what happened in the United States and multiple governments around the world. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, COVID, by the way, let's start printing money. Right? Trump printed billions of dollars. Japan printed trillions of yen. And it was really a way to keep this debt ship going. Yeah.
Exactly.
But the thing is, we're just going to need a bigger fucking injection next time, aren't we?
If they don't want a recession, yes. And, well, there's a video, I think I could try to find it again. But there's a reporter asking Joe Biden, like just off the whim when the report.
Yeah.
Did you see this about inflation?
Yeah, and he's like, inflation's an asset, you dumbass.
Well, yeah, he thought the mic was off, right? He was talking to the people
mic.
next to him. Yeah, and he was just saying like, he was like, inflation's good. Like the US dollar's good. We want more inflation, and coming from, a wealthy or, the leading class, scenario. Yeah. They want people to be pushed into poverty, through inflation over time, or at least, have to work on that hamster wheel a hell of a lot harder in order to maintain your standard of living, right? Even though your salaries are going up probably because of inflation, doesn't mean you have more purchasing power, right? It basically means you're lucky if you get a salary increase. But anyways, these people at the top, right, they see this and they're like, well, no, we like inflation. So, the Fed reducing interest rates, is just basically, in my opinion, to appease the masses and say, hey, we're trying to do something about this crazy inflation because it's the highest inflation rate that we've seen in 40 years. But in all honesty, we don't care, right?
Yeah.
Is basically what their real sentiment is. So at the end of the day,
go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, they're going to increase rates for a short period of time, taper the money printing for a short period of time, and then eventually, when they have another crisis, such as maybe a war or whatever, they're going to then be like, oh, we need to turn on that money printer again, that magic money printer. So
Okay.
and it doesn't matter who's in office. The elites of the country need that money. So they're going to try to keep that money printer on as much as they can.
Let me do a catch up on super chat real quick before I lose track of them. Darkest Night says, hang on. You can't just say crack pipes and gloss over it like nothing. No, we're not even joking. Like,
true.
The Biden administration is issuing government issued crack pipes so the drug addicts won't shoot up their crack and they'll smoke it. They're also issuing safe sex kits for homeless people because that's the first thing they're thinking about. Like, hey, I'm homeless. I'm fucking eating out of garbage can and drugs are my top priority. Also, be sure to use a condom. P. Willie, $4.99 super chat. Charlie and MLD are going to be on the Spell Token documentary. We're famous. Oh Lord, the Competent Man $5 super chat. Indications are so much so much money has been pumped into the markets that putting more in is not helping economic activity. It just inflates prices or assets now.
Correct.
Well, yeah, I mean, because they just came out with a study from Johns Hopkins saying that lockdowns are actually ineffective. Like, no shit. Johns Hopkins, hire me in 2020. I would have saved you a lot. I would have saved you millions of dollars. Just watch my YouTube channel. I'm a genius. I was saying that, right? And like, yeah, let's give everybody money and lock them at home. That's going to stimulate the economy. No. Anyways.
It's not meant to. They say that's what it's meant to do, but yeah, it's not the true intention at the end of the day.
I just need to get richer and just disappear. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and that's in all honesty, right? That's the thing that crypto provides that also pisses off the powers that be, is they start seeing people studying, using their brains, focusing on this exponentially growing market, because really technology is the way that you are going to break out of the stratosphere and have some sort of wealth independence in your life, right? It has to come through some sort of technology, whether that's stocks related to AI or whatever, or self-driving cars, that type of thing, or whether it's cryptocurrency. Just cryptocurrency is such in an earlier stage than most technologies. The exponential gains are ridiculous, not just in terms of price appreciation, but just in terms of, mainly in terms of price appreciation. If you're talking about, lower cap coins and stuff like this. So the over time, the people who do pay attention to cryptocurrency long term, meaning over the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to be able to retire within the next 5 to 10 years, no matter the age of the person. But the key factor there is that you have to work really hard between that time to study and understand what this market is and the safeguards of it, and then also the huge risks, which was part of what we're going to talk about today, as well as the patience in this market. And there's a lot of trap doors, right, in all markets, right? I think everybody who's read The Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, but that book right there just tells you so much about human psychology when it comes to markets and how people get rugged all the time. And markets are casinos, right, to some extent, if you don't understand what you're doing. But if you do understand what you're doing, this exponentially growing technology can absolutely, it's the first time in human history that an average person who has, access to the technology of just a smartphone, as long as you have access to that and the internet, you have the chance to retire by the end of this decade.
I'm ready. Wag me. We all gonna make it.
There we go. So the last question you asked was,
What do you think it's going? Because okay. Let's get the dumb guy's opinion first. Mine. So I feel like I'm like a girl on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I feel like, where's the money gonna come from the retail? Because everybody's fucking broke.
Doesn't need to come from retail. This whole pump right here was not because of retail, right? We made new all-time highs.
I'm the dumb guy. Go ahead. I'm listening. That's my hang up as to why I believe it's gonna be a little harder upwards pushing. It's gonna be.
I do agree that it is going to be harder, especially with the macroeconomic situation going on right now, especially with the increase of interest rates and freaking out of people in the market. I do agree that it is going to be harder to pump. But in terms of, on Moon Gang on Sunday, Plan C was talking about supply side versus demand, right? So you got supply and demand. For Bitcoin, after a halving, even if you have the same maintaining of demand, supply is reduced over time. And since supply is reduced over time, you maintain price or increase price. And so the couple of factors that have increased price on Bitcoin, inflation has definitely played a part. It's not a significant part, not as significant as people think. And I could show it an inflation-based chart here to prove that. But it is a small part of why Bitcoin has pumped, right? As well as simply just the supply reduction over time. The demand stayed the same to increase a bit. And when the demand increased a bit here, when Tesla was buying Bitcoin and everything like that, the price shot the price up from 20,000 up here to 30,000-40,000, and then it's maintained that level ever since, right? At least for now. So the supply side is Gucci. There's no selling by long-term hodlers. The whales are accumulating right now, and so
are the Rothschilds.
There you go. And so
did you know about that? In November and December, Rothschilds banks are just like massively accumulating Bitcoin right now.
Yeah. BlackRock's dipped their toes into it. KPMG Canada just bought a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, smart people are buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And so, you got corporations, you got nations, you got large banks. These types, right, are the ones that are basically fueling this type of pump here, where the demand stays the same, but the supply is reduced, and therefore you have an increased price. But, they're going to take their profits as well. And, most of the whales are not like selling down. A lot of this was due to high leverage that was in the system on the way up as well. And so after getting that out of the system, I think you're going to get this scenario here over the next few months, but this is just a total, kind of reckless speculation.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough evidence for this right now. But what I think is most likely to happen, and this is just my opinion, not I gave 3 scenarios on my show yesterday of what can happen with the price from here. But
Same one you gave me at lunch today?
Yes. And so we do have that chance to come down, right, and get that $31,000 low here at the end of March. That is possible. But I think what's more likely, based on a lot of evidence that I've seen in the market, and there's a couple ifs on this, right? It depends on if we hit certain targets from here on out. But I do think this type of longer consolidation period will really piss people off and get them, kind of putting their hands up in the market. And when people give up, that's when we pump, right? So that's one scenario. And this scenario also fits in with the larger macroeconomic situation with interest rate increases kind of slowing down Bitcoin. So, we can get a good pump here with low demand like we had in, the second half of last year. We can get that again. And then if we get a rejection there, right, that will get a lot of the market to just kind of give up. Right. And that tends to be when the smart money comes in, buys, starts pumping, and then retail doesn't get in until we break past $70,000. And then, you start getting all that bullish news of KPMG and all these other corporations buying Bitcoin, putting them on their treasury balance sheets, and but they bought here, right, during this consolidation phase, more than likely. And then they're selling it to everybody else up here.
You think this is going to drag into 2023 now?
Yeah, February-ish. Because the longer this consolidates, just the longer this lengthens the current bull market.
How long do you believe we've been in consolidation phase? Since early December?
Well, since April 2021, since we made this first dump into last summer, right?
Okay, I see.
And so this is just, if we zoom out here and we look at the Elliott wave of where we're at currently with Bitcoin, these 2 quote unquote mini bear markets that we've had in Bitcoin, which aren't true bear markets for a couple different reasons. One reason is they were not more than a 75% decline in price for Bitcoin, which Bitcoin tends to decline more than that in a bear market, in a true bear market. And then altcoins tend to die, like absolutely die. And altcoins have actually thrived during this consolidation phase and also during parts of this one here. So these are basically the wave 2 and the wave 4, the counter trend to the larger macro trend, which is 3 motive waves, 1, 3, and 5 to the upside. So we do still have that last move to the upside. And the thing that you can do here with Elliott waves is, if you take the wave 1, the wave 3 is usually the largest, but doesn't have to be. But if you take just the wave 1 and let's say you end the wave 4 around this $40,000 or $38,000 price, and you take another let's say 340 increase from there, basically what you could have is about that $160,000, $170,000 price Bitcoin towards February of 2023.
And that's crazy, because then the next year is the halving.
Correct. And
so we're only going to be 39. It's going to be our last bastion of coolness, because then we're into the uncool age of 40.
Well, yeah.
Then we just have to be super rich.
The halving is May, June of 2024. So not next year, the next year.
No, because I was going based upon where your cursor was on 2023 February, when you're talking about the 160 price right there. Yeah, right around there.
Right. And then the halving on Bitcoin is a year after that.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And so if we basically, from here, the question then becomes, this is where we get into really reckless speculation. But generally speaking, if you were to kind of go and take, this low here to that high there, right, you pull back a full retracement to this 0.786 area, that pulls Bitcoin in the bear market all the way back down to $40,000. So that's a pretty steep drop, right? But that likely happens, I would say, over the course of 9 months to a year and a quarter, which if it happened, let's say here from February of 2023, that would put us right into the halving, basically to finish this bear market, right? And then supply gets reduced again, supported at this range, which we've actually put a lot of price around. So the benefit of ranging in this price before breaking out is that for a bear market, it gives us a ton of area of support psychologically.
Yeah, for sure.
And so if that does happen, then going into the halving, right, we get a nice $40,000 price. And then from there, we go up. And then you get, I think in the next bear market, you get stuff that's more like this bull market, which is, you get these nice spurts to the upside, but then you get these longer periods of sideways action, which, basically just Bitcoin becomes more stable over time.
I'm so glad we're friends because, man, you're just so calm and like so confident in this. I think you're like a voice of calm and reason for everybody else because I don't know if you guys have been emotionally unstable in the last month due to the crypto market. Put a 4 in the chat if you've been emotionally unstable because I have definitely been like I think all the MDMA in Colombia had something to do with that, but.
Yeah, and what I tell people in the crypto mindset course, and like we can keep giving people lots of really, really good information, right? But it really takes experience and time as well to really understand where you're at. So,
oh man, moon pilled rational ganger. We're creating a new cult here. The moon gang meets the rational male. Just watch the movie The Big Short about the U.S. housing market. New level discussed for governments and the banks. Very true. Tushar Moore looks like 100 rupees. What up, guys? I've invested in a metaverse game called Crop Bites, and I play it every day. Have you heard of it? No. Any advice? No. I like playing simulator games. Congratulations. I just played Spider-Man Miles Morales on PlayStation 5. It was pretty fun. Yeah, but like 3 dead inside, baby.
Perfect.
But yeah, so you because for what about all the people that are kind of like losing their minds a little bit right now about everything? What is your perspective, you personally? What's your perspective on 2022? Is it going to be a profitable year? Are we all going to zero? What do you think?
So, I would say worst case scenario. Let's say we do go into that, like all of a sudden we get a death candle within the next 2 weeks, right? And we go down below $30,000. Let's say that happens, right? A lot of people calling for 10,000. A lot of people calling for 0, right? Bitcoin's dead again, all that kind of jazz. Yeah. I would say lowest that I see Bitcoin going is between about $20,000 to $26,000, somewhere in there. That would be the lowest I would see Bitcoin going. So if that happens, right, then it would probably take until end of this year, early next year to recover. And then we see, and the next bull market comes back faster. Essentially, we get, we basically get the next bull market sooner.
I have some insiders also, heavy hitters that are saying like these bull markets are going to get longer and these bear markets are going to get shorter until like, I think for you guys that do lose hope in this whole thing, I don't really think you guys grasp that we are literally the tip of the spear of this cryptocurrency global revolution.
It's pretty amazing. And we do this show on my channel called the Digital Currency Wars, which is basically my focus for this decade because governments, corporations, banks, and individuals are basically all having a different form and different levels of cryptocurrency and digital currency wars. Just people don't realize that that's right on the horizon. That's actually starting to happen right now. But it's one of the least popular shows because it's actually
educational
information. Yeah. Pretty much. But so it is what it is. But anyways, freaking out is natural. It's actually what markets are intended to make you do. So what I would highly recommend to anybody who is in that situation, it's I think it's somewhere between a 9 to a 20-hour book, but listen to the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. That's all you need to listen to. Listen to it twice because you probably will catch, probably a lot of it will kind of be forgotten on the first run around. But when we were going to lunch today in the taxi on the way to lunch, I was listening to that book and I was just like, damn, man, like humans emotionally and psychologically have not changed in thousands of years.
No, we haven't. We are just the same dirty, stinking, shit throwing apes that we were. We just have iPhones now.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can shit and trade at the same time.
Right.
So, it's great. But people back in the late 90s would have, that were trading tech stocks would have killed to have that level of ability, right?
Oh yeah.
And they would have become rich doing it too.
Dude, think about it. Like we for you guys watching, first of all, you motherfuckers are spoiled because we're like, oh yeah, here's how you make, quick anywhere between $1,000 to $100,000, right? People in the community like make $100,000 in a few days, like, oh great. Now I want to do that every day. How can I figure that out? Like, you let us know when you figure that out. We've got this part sorted. But yeah, you can just touch your cell phone and make a couple fucking $100,000. No big deal. But yeah, like there is an absolute redistribution of power and wealth happening, and it's really just up to the people who want to learn about cryptocurrency, learn about this whole ecosystem.
Think about this. Think about what you just said right there, right? This entire redistribution of wealth, the biggest wealth transfer and biggest opportunity to become wealthy in human history, and all you have to do is decide that you want to learn about it.
Yeah,
like
that's it.
That's ridiculous. And the fact that people are so lazy and short-sighted that they don't want to learn about it because the media tells them it's bad. Orange coin bad, right?
Mask up.
It's just kind of ridiculous.
Mask up, vax up. I have I can't even say it, but like, bro, people are just there was a bar in Colombia, right? And like, you can't come in unless you have your vaccine card. And I was like, oh well, I forgot mine. And they're like, well, can you just like show us a picture on your phone? And I was like, okay, google.com vaccine save image. I was like, here. She was like, okay, thanks, come on in. I was like, wow, I feel safe already. It's all a fucking joke. And the only people that are really gonna be victimized by this are the ones dumb enough to trust the people in the government with their lives and trust like big pharma. Of all of the corrupt organizations on the fucking planet, you need to trust big pharma, the most crooked people. $70 a pill for Viagra. You're gonna trust those people.
Well, and they're
deserve to die.
They're incentivized to not make you well, and however you want to understand that phrase, right? There's no political slant on that phrase. It's just literally English. But like if they were to solve all diseases, how are they going to make money, right? So that's one
Chris
thing.
Rock said it. There's no money in the cure. The money's in the medicine, baby.
Yep.
Crypto Boogie 199 super chat. He says, I'm tearing that book up, Cultivate Crypto. Competent Man is just making me so rich. $10 super chat. Book about legendary trader Jesse Livermore. Yep. Great, especially on getting banned from bucket shops or how they went in against hunches. He lost money. Funny how the games back then still apply today. Yeah, dude, it's the same thing. It's like banging girls, dude. Like, it doesn't change. It's just like now you have more options on Tinder. That's about it,
Yep. And the other book I would recommend for people who are thinking, so what's the other reason why I think a lot of people, when they talk about the job market, right, they don't understand how to progress long term because there's so many, with technology increasing so fast the last, basically our entire lives.
Yeah.
Most people's jobs have been either significantly shifted or made redundant.
Yeah.
And so why is that? We're not in the industrial age anymore. We're in the digital age. We're in the information age, right? So if you want to understand what that is and how governments are freaking the hell out because of that, then listen to the book, The Sovereign Individual. That's another 20-hour read for you, or listen. But The Sovereign Individual has a lot of really interesting insights on that shift. And so, compared, the University of YouTube has been a lot better for me than the University of University, in terms of, value for what you can learn. So, self-study is really the way to make it this day and age. So you gotta put, a bit of elbow grease into it.
Oh, look at that. Swerve. Oh, I thought he sent it to me. He sent it to you. Damn you, Swerve. $50 super chat. Everyone will be all good by 2025. In the meantime, go work out. Get some game from MLD and crypto knowledge in the crypto mindset course. Easy. Thank you, Swerve. That is a really cool super chat, especially because it was $50. Yeah, we still have to talk about Spell Token.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, when we get into that.
Well, it's good to be back and actually doing a show with you and having the banter. Are you guys enjoying this on your Monday morning? Jem, are you being miserable and Scottish over there? Players collapsing have gone up 72%. Totally normal, or it's long vid. Jem, are you cooking pancakes this morning over there in dreary old Scotland? You have pancakes or waffles, gal? Yeah, it's good to be back, man. And I just love these organic conversations that we have that really, I really think that we speak what a lot of people are thinking. And like they watch us like, okay, like I'm not the only fucking nutbag. Like I'm not a psychopath thinking like I hate my government. Why are all these morons in control? And like literally we've gotten to the point that like it's I will say with this whole pandemic thing, right? And then we'll go into the Spell Token after this with the whole pandemic thing, because we tied government incompetence to fiat currency to a broken financial system, right? I think
it is all interlinked. It is all interlinked,
dude.
People sometimes think we're crazy for interlinking those things. Listen to the book Sovereign Individual, and you understand why it's interlinked.
That being said, I think another thing is this too, right? The thing is, now a lot of these people, especially the people that got double jabbed, right? Now those people are permanently pissed off. They're like, yo, I put chemicals in my body and you said the shit was going to be over. And now it's not over. Now you tell me I need a booster. Now you telling this. And these are like people that were like, fucking normies. In addition to that, modern day people now know how to organize and protest against the government on a global level. Right?
Yeah.
Take what's happening with the trucker convoy in Canada, right? And Trudeau hiding in his mommy's basement. These motherfuckers are like, we're just going to surround the Capitol and blare our horns from 1 a.m. from 6 a.m. until 1 a.m. Do you know that? These truckers wake up, they slam Red Bulls at 6 a.m. and they just lay down on the horn all day.
That's funny.
I
love it.
But, and what are you seeing now? Globally, all governments are tucking their fucking tails between their legs.
Well, it's in India, right? They did the same thing last year or the year before. Basically, there was a farmers' strike, and like they just inundated the highways with trucks and people. And at the time, Trudeau was like, basically saying, trying to egg it on for India and say like, hey, this is great that India has this peaceful resistance. This is great. And then when it happens in his country, totally different story, right? But the Indians are having a field day on Trudeau, and I love it. It's great,
man. Let me do some super chats, and we'll talk about Spell Token. Tap to $5 super chat. I bought at the top and held to the current price now. If I buy at the current price, what will be the chance of making good on my initial investment? Buddy, we don't know what the fuck you bought. So
let's assume Ethereum. Let's assume Ethereum. All right, we'll at least give him some answers.
Do you know this guy?
Yeah, he's been around in the space for a while.
All right,
so I don't know his bags exactly, or I can't remember at least.
Pronounced bags.
The last time I heard shit about that was back in university. God damn it! But yeah, there's other words with those long A's. But anyways, it's the Minnesota in me. So basically, let's say you bought Ethereum, right, at $4,800. If you bought at the current prices, I would have said obviously to buy as much as you can under $3,000, right? Yeah, if you bought at the current prices, what would be the chance to make good on your original investment? I would say, well, first of all, your chance to make good on your original investment is going to be 100%. It's just a matter of time, right? So for Ethereum and coins that you can hold long term, basically, wait 2 to 5 years and you'd be Gucci, right? It's the altcoins which have the biggest question marks. It doesn't matter how good they are, right? We don't know which ones will survive until they do. So for Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, you're fine to do that. For other coins, it's going to take a lot more research and discussion.
Greengrass 999 super chat with the Judge Judy to my life / financial advisors. Competent man, need a booster, more like one every 90 days. Hey, leave Israel out of this. Oh, Tap 2 said spell.
Ooh, that's a different story.
Pay attention to what we're about to say. Pay
Totally
attention to what we're
different
about to
story.
say.
So let me show the chart on spell.
Okay, Mr. K, 5. Let me catch up. Mr. K,
Yeah,
5 Great British Pounds. Do you see a slight dip bringing ETH below 3K in the next week or two? Charlie.
It has to happen in the next week or two, or it won't.
Crypto Boogie, 4.99 super chats. I feel like I'm watching an episode of Joe Rogan podcast. Deep. Well, let me tell you something there, son. You're watching InfoWars. Yo, MLD, Rolo shouted you out on the Patrick Bait, the PBD podcast yesterday. So yeah, Rolo did shout me out. Thank you so much, Rolo Tomasi. Love you like the father I never had. Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, that's a good podcast, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty pimping, right? He actually shouted me out. He's a John from Modern Life Dating.
Nice.
And then I made $1 million.
Rolo's a good guy. I like that guy. Let's go over to spell token.
All right, let's
see this chart.
Yep, we can see it. Let the depression flow. Here we go.
So, I mean, here was the Coinbase pump, right? So the date. Here's the thing that
you want to zoom in just a little.
Yeah, I will. Here's the thing that you did say. You did say that January 3rd was a good time to be highly on alert for spell token.
Yes.
And so you can see here, that's where all the downsides started. So, if you would have basically, when you were talking about it, I think it was around this area here, basically this chunk. So, you would have made some gain. You get out of it. You wait to see what happens after January 3rd. It goes down. You don't get back in. You're Gucci, right? So the information that you did give was, was not bad, right? I would say it was a high risk play, but John likes to go for glory, so that's why I wasn't.
We're putting the L in spell today, boys.
I was double L in this situation. One thing I was gonna say during the last stream, I was just like, "Man, you're really putting your weight behind it," and I was just like, you got to be careful on that a little bit.
I think I was right, minus this whole scandal shit.
Well, yes and no. So, yes, you were right, minus the scandal stuff. Plus, I would say that the timing. One thing I was basically telling everybody in January because of the 60-day cycle was hold on to your dry powder until the end of January. Basically, there's no reason to jump into the market and try to force trades until the end of January, right? Because for Bitcoin, that's where we got the end of the 60-day cycle. This is also why we put the crypto mindset course. I'm just taking every chance I can this week to show you guys. The day the crypto mindset course started was this red candle here. We started around $38,000 on the first webinar at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then the last day the crypto mindset course was available was here on January 31st. We had the last webinar. So this was essentially the crypto mindset course dip. So that's why I was telling everybody in early to mid-January, hold on to your dry powder till the end of January, because we expected more dip. We got it. Crypto mindset course for the win. Anyways, moving on. So, it did go along with Bitcoin. So the market itself going into the end of January on a downtrend was also a reason to pull it down. So not only the scandal just made it go down harder, right? And so what we got here in terms of, Elliott wave patterns for spell and for altcoins, you got to be a lot more careful with this. You basically got this type of pattern here where it had a 5-wave increase to the upside, right? So it had its first move. That's great. And so this you can call, if you're basically doing it on a macro sense, you can call this a wave 1, right? And then where is the wave 2? And then will it come back? So this is where fundamentals and technicals have to align, right? Because the technicals can only help a coin's price so much. The fundamentals are just as important. So this is why we're talking about this subject today. So you have this 5-wave increase. Now the wave 2 can come back as far down as the beginning of the wave 1, right? So it is possible that spell token goes down further. Now, the one thing you can do to try to understand where spell token is going, right, is you can take the Fibonacci retracement from the entirety of that wave 1, pull it across here, right, roughly around this, There we go. And you can see here, we went below this 0.786 level, which means if we touched it once, we bounced up from it. I think without the scandal, it probably would have touched this level again, and we'd probably still be a bit more up in this, like maybe 1.2 penny mark, somewhere in here. But because, you know, that scandal did happen, I do think this area is now resistance, basically at 80% of a penny. And we probably have more downside from here. Doesn't have to happen, but I think it seems likely. So right now we're basically in a significant downtrend, being below this 0.786. So the question is then, where does the wave 2 possibly end? In this case, I would change it to maybe the 3-day chart, and you can look at it in 2 ways, right? So you have this 5-wave increase that you can even see on the 3-day chart, and then you can see 3 waves here, 3 waves here, and then 3 waves here, which could mean that the wave 2 is done. It is possible, right? But if it does decide to go down further, right, I think the price that it does go down to is, it seems like there's a 5-wave sequence here, and we're in a 4-wave here. So if we go and we look at like a 1, 2, 3, we're in that 4-wave, and we have a 5th wave. Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. How did I mess that up? It's like midnight here, right? There we go. Something along those lines, right? If we do get that 5th wave down, I guess it depends on where you look at this wave 1. Do you look at the wave 1 as being here, or do you look at the wave 1 as being here? So if you look at the wave 1 as being here, that was a 50% reduction in price. So I would say you get at least a 25% reduction, maybe a 50% reduction in price before you get some relief on this. So from here, if you get a 25% reduction, right, it would only bring it down to like the last low. So I think it is more likely that you get a 50% reduction and a new low. It would also line up with the support area over here. So I think it seems most likely to me that this is going to go to about 40% of a penny. Now, this also depends on, though, what happens with Bitcoin. So, you know, these markets are highly correlated with what happens with Bitcoin. Doesn't mean it's got to be 100% correlated with Bitcoin. But I would say if Bitcoin decides to continue up here and have a positive 60-day cycle, then it is possible that Spell Token has that low in and it recovers from here, right? So if you're basically dollar cost averaging in because you believe in this long term, fine. But I would do it in chunks from basically 40% of a penny to the current price, and then, you know, maybe wait for it to come back. But the last thing I'll say on the price, right, is let's say the wave 2 is in or it's not in, doesn't matter. If we go into this wave 3, there's 2 things to kind of think about. One, how quickly do people forget about scandals in crypto? They'll forget within 6 months. If the price will cure all, if Bitcoin is doing well in 6 months and going to new all-time highs and the retail is back in this market, people will not even remember who is Sifu. Nobody will know, right? It's kind of like Sushi Swap. Sushi Swap had the Chef Nomi rug. How many people who've gotten into the market in the last 6 months even know what that is? Probably not many, right? A lot of people are like, oh, Sushi Swap, it's a good exchange, right? Well, there was a rug there in the summer of 2020. And so, you know, people will forget and forgive if the price recovers. So there's a big if there, right? So I'm not saying Spell Token's dead or anything like that. I do think I think that if it does go down to 40% of a penny, it's actually probably a good time to scoop it up, because from the highs here, right, that would be a 90% reduction in price. You know, I think, you know, they can resurrect the project enough to get you some gains on that. So that would be an ultimate value investors opportunity. The current low that it went down to was 85%, right? And the current price of where it's at is 78%. So it is still in that value range. And like you said before, we saw the same thing with RGT previously. If we go over to there, we saw the same. Oops, Jesus Christ, that chart. We saw the same thing with RGT, had that scandal and had that hack here, which brought the price down and ranging on the lows for quite a while. And then it recovered. And now it's basically at the previous highs. at support here at $20, and it got up as far as like $50-$60. So this, RGT recovered from it, and it's probably better to look at it more cleanly on a weekly chart. So RGT recovered from that type of thing and had that situation, and then came back because, right, from July of 2021 through November, the market was up. So if the macro market is up, then Spell's going to do just fine, in my opinion.
Green Pony, 10 British pounds. Governments want you poor and dependent on them. You follow the sheep, you go to the slaughter. No one got rich by following the crowd. Hey, me and Charlie used to sit around. We were talking about it today. Me and Charlie used to go to this steak joint called Ikinari Steak, which means like suddenly steak in Japanese.
We should go back there soon. That's good place. I like it.
How dare you? we would eat like $20 steaks for lunch and take an hour and talk about crypto, talk about Bitcoin. We're like, dude, we're in the middle of the 2017 bull run, and we were like, this shit is the future. And people in our office, they thought we were nuts. They're thought nuts. I exclusively keep my LinkedIn profile to passive aggressively shit talk my previous coworkers. I do it to this day. Because it is hilarious, because we're watching these guys get promotions and shit, and like me and Charlie are moon ganging, baby. We're moon ganging hard. So for all you people that are giving you crap, telling you like, oh, you crazy, your internet coins, whatever, dude, pay them no mind. You'll see what happens in this year. Tap 2 $10 super chat. I decided to cut my losses on Spell, use it as a loss on my taxes, and convert my Spell into FTM, and then convert to Boo to stake on Spoopy Swap. I have a pretty hefty bag of Spell, and I'm just staking it with Phantom right now to get Boo in the meantime, and I'm just gonna wait for what Charlie said. I'm just gonna wait for market to rebound. Spell will probably go, dude. We're gonna see what this fat fuck gets up to, but I would not be shocked if Spell broke its all-time high of 3.5 cents. Personally,
I don't think it'd be too hard to do, especially if Bitcoin's pumping up to new all-time highs.
Bitcoin is the god of the market, bro. Bitcoin will raise the shittiest coins up from nothing, and that's why I just really think this. I mean, dude, if anybody got diamond hands, bro, dude, I aped hard into Spell and T-shares at the same time, bro. I have got like omni god level diamond hands right now.
You're good at buying those tops, bro.
I timed the Karura top too at $13. I'm still holding hard on the Karura. Lord Venom,
but I give you that. You do have the diamond hands. I give you that.
I do, like the fucking. I gotta grab my gauntlet here. I literally have the diamond hand gauntlet over here. I should just cover this thing in rhinestones, put it to use. Just get the real diamond hand thing going here. But yeah, I think that it is going to be. I mean, like I said, there's the fundamentals of the coin was really, that was the big problem. Not necessarily the technicals, right? It was just bad news bears with this fucking founder. So that one's for you, Danielle, in your scandalous ways. But it is what it is. Lord Venom, $4.99 super chat. I ain't mad over Spell token. It's a learning lesson. Still love you, MLD. Keep saving lives. I love you too. But yeah, I think that I was pessimistic a couple days ago when we chatted when I was in Corona jail, and you're like, well, Bitcoin could recover to 41.5. I was like, it's not recovering, Charlie. Stop being optimistic. And then it recovered, and then here we're at 44. So I just think that we got to let the dust settle. The fucking conspiracy nut inside me, right? Thinks that they drove the prices down at the beginning to, get ready to reaccumulate them up and the rest of the year. We're going to see what happens, baby. We're going to see what happens. So that being said, yeah, let's just talk about the final stage of this.
Can we talk about the drama and why it's pushed down?
Yes. So we're going to talk about now why Spell token was affected with the price, and why people were scrambling to get out of the project. I'll let Charlie take the floor on that one.
Yeah, and then we'll round it off with there's another crypto drama happening with the Bitfinex hacking. That's just so ridiculous. We gotta show it for the lulz on today's
that's
show.
just gonna be fun. I'm gonna give you a big screen. I'm gonna go reload my Coke
Go
here.
for it. All right, so I'll share the screen here and we'll get into what has been going on in late January. This was during the crypto mindset course. People in the course, we talked about it in the Telegram chat. But since, like John said, a lot of people that had been watching this show prior to either prior to New Year's or just at the beginning of New Year's, basically hadn't got this news. So that's what we wanted to talk about here today. So let's see here. I guess we'll go full screen on that. Oops. I think I'll go like this. We'll go there. All right. So for those of you who don't know, basically here is the leader of Frog Nation, right? Which is a conglomeration of different coins and projects that are being built out. Some of them are related to the Phantom ecosystem. Some of them are related to the Abracadabra ecosystem and stuff like this. So yeah, we have Danielle Sesta, who is the CSO of Frog Nation, right? So you can see the link to Abracadabra Money here. And we can discuss what that is. Basically, right, Abracadabra Money is a conglomeration of different coins that are used to produce magic internet money, which is a stable coin, which is algorithmically stable to the US dollar. And so you can go in here and you can farm, right? And you can see different coins in their ecosystem. We can still hear your wrapper and stuff.
That's not me.
Okay. Oh, for some reason it's not showing up here today. But anyways, you can come in here and you can
Red flag.
farm on different tokens. But anyways, so I mean, here's the thing: is he's a smart guy, very charismatic person, building out good projects. The thing is, his recruiting was absolutely dreadful in terms of
shit like this is so sketch too.
It
February 5th, like tweeting out Alice Wonderland shit. Like, dude, you just cost people millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you're writing about this. Like, this, I want to slap the fucking fat fuck in his mouth.
Well, yeah, you can, yeah, whatever. But
take
so anyways,
responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I mean, he does have tweets about this, and we're going to go into it. But so he hired this guy here, known as Sifu, right? Just an internet name. We don't know who. Well, we didn't know who the guy was, and then all of a sudden, right, in the middle of January, right, people started doxing this Sifu guy. Why? Because he was part of the treasury for MIM and Wonderland time, which are basically coins of the Abracadabra network. And so yeah, Sifu was part of the treasury, but when his identity was basically doxed, it was not good. And so here, right, we had this tweet here on January 27th. And then this is just some tweets or some messages that need to be shared. He said, Sifu is the co-founder of this exchange called Quadriga CX. And his name during that exchange was Michael Patron. And said, if you're unfamiliar with the Canadian exchange that collapsed in 2019 after the founder, Gerald Cotton, disappeared with $169 million, then you probably should go in and research that. Basically, Gerald said he disappeared, and then people claim that he faked his death. Some people claim that he really died and all this jazz. And anyways, he did disappear, and $169 million was lost from that Canadian exchange. Pretty crazy, right? And so apparently his partner in crime, Michael Patron, is this Sifu guy who is in charge of the treasury for Wonderland Time, which is a part of the Frog Nation group of coins. And so that's a little bit concerning, right? So a guy who helped to rug one of the largest rugs of a Canadian exchange ever. It's kind of like, Mt. Gox, right? It's Mt. Gox 2.0, right? And so you got some of the, and so then it's like, okay, well, did the founder of this whole area of coins, right, Danielle, did he know about this? And so There were some screenshots apparently, right? This is all, out there now on the internet.
This guy's a snitch.
That is true. He basically, was texting with Danielle and said, I came across something rather odd about about Dubai. No, about Sifu. Okay, Oshi, what's up? Well, he's a Quadriga guy, and everybody in crypto knows what Quadriga means. I cannot confirm, but I have thought about this a lot. Dangerous to be working with, sir. Right? And he says, yes. But yeah, is a problem with PR at this point. Alex, my partner, told me, and this is Danielle talking, this is I think the other guy, right? Yeah. Something like that. Anyways, how are you going to manage if this comes out? It's a PR, my PR guy, Alex, partner, told me about it. I don't have an answer. He says, I can count on a single hand how many people know. So not many people knew about this, but Danielle apparently did. We started this together without knowing. It is interesting that I thought he was more careful. He says, I have my ways, right? So it's just these odd.
The way he's texting, Danielle knew. This guy.
Correct. It's just an odd discussion, right? And it's like, okay, so he knows, right? And then they go into more texts, right? Like, I feel, I don't know what to do. I feel like he's a good man. Spent a lot of time with him recently. Do you think I should get to know him? I should just get him slowly out. But yes is my highest risk to my reputation. That's what my PR security manager told me. You're willing to put your entire reputation on the line and also risk everyone's money. No, I'm not. Well, that's what you're doing, right? So there's a lot of negativity and like obviously stuff between all these guys once they realize, oh shit, one of these partners, right, is a professional rug puller. And if you go further into Sifu's background, apparently, right, this is allegedly, he has back in the day where he met Gerald Cotton, the guy who ran Quadriga X, was through like a Ponzi scheme forum website.
Oh God.
So yeah, not good. Not good. And you could go further into this, right? I would say, you can go look at the addresses here and you can go look at the whole chain here. It gets quite dramatic, but even got people creating this type of art here in crypto, right? The unmasking of Sifu now out as an NFT. If you would like to buy it,
whatever money, right? We just gotta monetize the world here.
Yeah.
All I gotta say, Charlie. Crypto drama. Jesus Christ. What can you just fucking be normal and help us make money? Charlie, we gotta start a coin.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the problem, right? A lot of these guys, right? It's just like a 1 week link, right? If they just didn't hire this guy to take care of the treasury and have on Spell Token 1 of 10 multi-sig confirmation addresses, right? Then things would be fine. But when you hire somebody who, he might be really, really intelligent, but he's clearly morally corrupt. When you hire somebody like that, that's a big problem. And if you knew about that before everybody else, it's your duty as the leader of this area to basically take that person out. And it's going to create some short-term pain, but the fact that you did that, people will respect it. But you wait for it to become public and you're on your back of your heels, that's where people are not going to respect it. And so, Andre Krohn, who is partnering up with Danielle for a lot of things, right, just wants to code. He says here, I still support Danny, still planning on working with him, but there are lines. A history of consistent fraud, theft, and malicious behavior is not a mistake. That's intent. Having Sifu manage funds, especially user funds, can be argued as negligence. And that's all I have to say, right? And which is 100% the case. This is like, this shows,
look at the next, go down to the next tweet to bring that one up, please.
Yeah. Danny knew for a month. And in that time, Sifu is handling funds. I don't know what psyops. I don't know what's going on. I want to get off this Willy Wonka's magic ride. So this is somebody who is really intelligent and is trying to build coins properly, right? So Andre, right, knows that there's when you're dealing with people's money and you're building stuff out like this in a financial space, it's serious, right? And argued as negligence is something that is absolutely, detrimental, could land these guys in jail, right? So not saying that they're going to or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, you keep going along those routes with guys that, like Sifu, and it's not going to end well. And we'll show one of those cases today of people who thought they were, above the, the law here. But generally speaking, Andre is extremely smart in this space. So you just got to be very careful when you're in the crypto space to make sure that you do everything above board, right? And so Andre is 100% doing that, which is good to see. And Danny, he did basically turn to the community, right, and say, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue to try the Wonderland experiment, or do you not want to? And there was a mixed reaction. Some people wanted to, some people didn't. So, right, he said it's coming to an end. It's clear that the whole vote of the community is divided. The core, the heart of Wonderland is still the community. If we cannot find agreement on whether to continue or not, that means we have failed. So the fact that there was not consensus means it has failed. And so basically he's going to wind the project down. And so you can read that in more detail there. But, the other thing which is alarming, was basically when you follow the addresses, right? So we focused on Sifu and forgot about, Daniel, right? Because this is, again, allegedly, you'd have to go into the blockchain to confirm all of this. But, right, there has been money taken out by both Danny and Sifu during this time. So a few days ago, Danny's wallet spent $9 million of spell to Binance 14 wallet. Yesterday, he sent $6 million to USDT on Bitfinex. In the last 60 days, he sent more than $23 million of USDT to Bitfinex. In December alone, right before everybody else knew, Danny had received 6,000 time tokens from the Wonderland DAO, which is over $24 million. And he sold more than 6,000 of these over the last month. He only has 542 wrapped memo and 1.3 time tokens left. So he got out before everybody else, which is not a good look. It's a really bad look. So, yeah, it's just, you gotta wonder. But where was it?
What a bag of shit.
Yeah, it's not good. Like, when you're taking care of other people's money, you got to be professional. You got to be responsible. You can't be doing stuff like this, right? And
this is why robots are going to kill us all. We're just liabilities.
Yeah, there is a lot of weak links with humanity. That's for sure. But so when it comes to the rest of the Abracadabra stuff, and specifically spell, right, they are basically weeding out all the negativity, and they are starting to begin these projects anew. So, there is some positivity in this for sure, but it is, ridiculous. So this is the Abracadabra statement over the recent Wonderland developments. So it was put out on January 30th. So it's been a long few days for the protocol and Frog Nation as a whole. We, as the Abracadabra team, feel it's important to clarify some misconceptions regarding the current situation, right? So they said, firstly, Sifu was never at any time directly or indirectly managing the Abracadabra treasury, right? So he was specifically in charge of the treasury for Wonderland time. The spell treasury for the spell token, which consists of all the unminted spell tokens, have never been used to send funds to Sifu.eth. And all of the transactions have been created and executed by our co-founders, Danielle and Merlin, as a part of a 2 out of 2 multi-signature wallet. The transactions related to the Abracadabra treasury revolve mostly around refilling farms or topping up incentivization mechanisms, such as curve bribe systems. Also, the MIM, Magic Internet Money Stablecoin multi-sig, on the other hand, is a 6 out of 10 multi-sig wallet, which mints MIM tokens to top up the cauldrons. No transaction can be executed with it without at least 6 signatures. Despite not having control over the Abracadabra treasury, Sifu was one of the 10 possible signers of the MIM multi-signature address. This meant he was able to help sign off on transactions that Merlin was seeking to execute, but he couldn't individually try to rug the money from there. And you can go and read the rest of this as
put
well.
The link in the chat. Put the link in the chat for the guys.
Yeah, definitely. This is probably the best form here. So, anyways, that's it's as much of the drama that I really want to get into. It's kind of, you know, when it comes to that type of stuff, like it's just kind of like, you know,
Ooh,
like
I'm frozen.
Oh, you're frozen.
I don't know what's going on here. Oops. Just fix my. Hold on, and fix my.
I love it.
I don't know.
But anyways, so, you know, when it comes to that type of drama, you know, just it's better not to dwell on it too much and just be like, okay, like John said earlier, right? You get one whiff of that type of thing, and you're just like, all right, I'm gone.
I'm
right?
out.
I'm out. I'm out, sir. And then, you know, you move on to the other projects. And if it comes back, great. And if you're hodling some of your coins and you're yielding on them, like John said, within the Phantom Network ecosystem, then you're good. So, yeah, just I think you wanted to put this out as basically a public service announcement or Surgeon General's warning on what is happening there.
Yeah, and sorry, my OBS just like decided to
Died.
just stop working.
Fun.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. My computer is dying. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, this just pisses me off. Yeah, but we just wanted to bring the attention to you guys of what exactly was happening there in regards to the spell situation. I did believe at the time it did provide a viable option to make money. I will say this, and like, yeah, I guess it is kind of like me kind of covering my own ass saying this. I really don't care. I do think that you can still make money with it throughout this last leg of the bull market. However, I personally am looking for a way out immediately. Like as soon as I'm above 0.009, I'm totally out. So I don't know what the hell's
You were
going on.
back there for a second.
No, I don't know, man. My computer is having an aneurysm. But anyways, hey, it is what it is, right? My OBS is just like not responding well. I don't know what's happening.
Is what it is. The last thing I wanted to mention was just what is happening with the Bitfinex hack, which is something that I think you just laugh your ass off at. But
Let's take it out.
So have you heard much about this yet?
I've heard it vaguely, but I want to hear in detail.
All right. So so this couple, which is obviously the couple of the year, they stole $4.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and then tried to basically start liquidating it out of Bitfinex. So the wife of the couple accused of $4.5 billion of Bitcoin swindle gave advice on cybersecurity and social engineering during that time before she was caught, which is absolutely ridiculous. So this lady, I think Illa Lichtenstein, or that's actually the dude's name, sorry. Illa Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan have been accused of laundering $4.5 billion in Bitcoin that had been stolen from Bitfinex way back in 2016. So
The Motley Crue.
Yeah, crazy, right? So if you think, you know, your black hat hackers or, you know, the cyber criminals are super sophisticated, you know, shadowy supercoders, think again. But you know, so since 2016, she had been talking about cybersecurity and social engineering, telling people how awesome of an entrepreneur she was. And then, you know, this, right? So Morgan had previously shared advice on how to protect exchanges from cybersecurity attacks and had done a presentation on social engineering attacks. The U.S. Department of Justice said Tuesday that it seized the $3.6 billion in Bitcoin earlier this month. Both her husband and her were arrested this morning and charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to defraud the United States. That is a big oof. Oof. That's going to be a lot of years. Oh,
when
So here, right, basically, they're arrested in Manhattan and face up to 25 years in prison if convicted on the twin charges of conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to defraud the United States. As might be expected, the reporters and commentators dug into the social media footprints of the two accused, with some highlighting the intersections between their public activities and the crypto sector for quite a while. So yeah, you can go through this and that, just watch that ridiculous story. But I mean, this is crazy too. Like, here, let me share the audio on this. Make sure I'm sharing audio. Just sometimes in crypto, man. Sometimes. So you literally have this on TikTok, right? Never have I ever stolen $4.5 billion of Bitcoin.
Oh my God.
I definitely have.
When was this? When was that TikTok posted?
There's no link to the TikTok here, but I'm sure somebody could go find it and look it up. That's crazy.
These bitches will snitch on themselves on pretty much anything for fucking clout. That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And if you want to go and look at her, right, Heather Morgan, an individual alleged of laundering 4.5 billion in Bitcoin cryptocurrency, frequently uploaded videos of herself on TikTok under the name Real RazzleCon. She raps and follows rules is for fools instead of working. I work the edge case with my tools. And like, oh my God, like this is just so bad, bro. So bad.
Oh Lord.
Everyone knows we know what's proper, but not Raz, no shame, that won't stop her. Blindly following rules is for fools. Instead, I work the edge cases with my tools.
All right.
Oh,
and then
God.
Her husband is an occasional magician, right? And then before we get to that one, this is another one of her like apparently she raps and like she does the most like ridiculous stuff. It's so bad.
Bitch, I'm the motherfucking crocodile. Wall Street. Wall Street. Razzle.
And she thinks she's good at what she does. Like this is crazy, bro. Like she thinks she's like the serial entrepreneur who made so much money and all this stuff. And like, she's trying to put herself off like that. Like how I built a multi-million dollar business in my 20s with zero outside funding, except for the money that I stole. Right. So, yeah, not good.
Hold on.
I like the chat. The chat's fucking great.
I think I think that what you put was a fake. The Bitcoin
the
thing.
First one.
Yeah. I think it was. I think I found the original one.
Okay.
So like this is it. I think they edited it here. Can you see this?
Oh, okay. Damn it. I wish it was real.
Especially as a kid. Never have I fallen asleep. I definitely slept in public on benches as a kid. I have been on TV.
I think it's the first one. Hold on.
I definitely have.
That's the one that they scammed. I was like, no way this bitch is that retarded. No way that bitch.
Would have loved it to be true, but anyways, the internet. I just go for these things for the memes. To be honest, like there's gonna be a million memes of this chick probably. So
I just feel sick to my stomach right now.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Whenever you're viewing stuff like that. But I figured we were on the topic of
no, of course,
crypto degeneracy today, and there's plenty of that to go around in the news in the last 1 month on crypto.
Insane, bro. Insane. Well, here we go. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for us this fine Wednesday morning for the majority of you. We're gonna go to bed here. And I'll be back live on my channel if my camera works. And Charlie will be back on his channel tomorrow on 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then,
that's correct.
We'll see you guys next time.